Okay, welcome back, and it's been so long. Anyway, so welcome again to people on Facebook, on Twitch, of course, which is where I'm sort of monitoring the chat, but not very effectively, and of course on YouTube and on Steam. So welcome everybody. This is really, I think, the final session now of the Slytherin Publishers Sale for this week. The sale has finished, and so we're just sort of finishing off a few of the final bits and pieces. So Field of Glory 2, if you've never sort of played this game or seen this game, this is an incredibly detailed, but also the modelling, what it did with ancient tactical battles, there's just nothing like it. I absolutely love this game. It's sort of one of these games that if I had to sort of take a game with me, if I could only take one or two games, this would certainly be on the short list of the sorts of games that I would like to be sort of taking, because it's sort of, every time you play it, it's very, very different. And there's actually been another update that's come back out with this game, and it's added in a fair few different units. Not a fair few, it's added a handful of different units, but they have actually sort of rebalanced a few of the campaigns, the battles, and also the various mixes of different sorts of forces. So we're going to start with just having a bit of a starter campaign, essentially, and just work our way through using some of the new units. And I think what we'll do, I was thinking which way we should go with this. There's been changes too. Actually, I'll just quickly talk about this because I'm going to be playing the Field of Glory 2 campaign, which sort of gives you like a bit of a random campaign rather than something that's sort of too scripted. So this is fully random. And it's what they've done is they've taken a few of the models and the approaches from the TT mod campaigns, which is built, it's been out now for a couple of years, I think, this one here. It's an excellent mod that has sort of been provided by the community. And so they've actually now worked in with the mod builders to use some of their models and some of what they do and sort of implement that into the actual main campaign itself, into the main game, which is just great. And I always really like seeing that with games, because it's difficult actually for developers to embrace mods in that sort of sense where they actually incorporate it in the game. But for me, it sort of really is an indicative of a very healthy community within an actual game community. So actually, it's just seeing Camastar is saying that they're trying to enter the tournament. There is an error with your request, please. Yeah, there isn't. Actually, there is a tournament coming up. I think it's on the 2nd of March. So if you are interested, that's for anyone with the base game. You don't need any of the DLCs. So if you've got the base game, then you can sort of sign up for that competition, for that tournament. But it looks like Camastar is having some issues with trying to actually do that one. Yeah, remember the tournament. Are newbies or almost newbies welcome to the tournament? Asked Camastar. I would definitely think so. I think that this is one of these things where the fact that they're, like, from what I read about the tournament, it sounded like it really was, they were trying to get people who don't play the game much to sort of get involved. And another aspect about this game is that this started as a tabletop game. It actually is its own tabletop system. And it's got a very, very strong way of actually playing, like with very rigid rules, which actually, like, this is why I think it's just such a great computer game, not campaign game. Anyway, we're going to be playing the Field of Glory 2 campaigns. So we're just going to launch this one. We can have a little bit of talk about what the changes that actually did come in with this particular patch that did come out. And so with the armies, the biggest changes came through, and I'll just sort of compress it down into the time frames that we're talking about, which would be about from 300 to about 0. I think this is where most of the sort of changes actually then did come back in through. So I think that there's been changes made to some of the Greek forces have had undergone some changes, I think, with some of their noble cavalry. Now, I'm not sure if they've actually changing any of the stats or if it's just the modelling, but the biggest change is actually in the Spanish changes in through here. So the Spain has now been split out into 4 different sections. So we've got the Iberian, which is sort of like the central part of Spain. We've got the Lusitanians, and which is the southwestern part of Spain back in this era. And then we've got the Spanish Celtiberian, which were the sort of north. I think that these were the sort of more the north. The northeast, I think. excuse me, is how that one sort of works. And then you've got one which is Sertorius, which is, of course, the most underrated Roman general that's ever been. He sort of was on the wrong side of history, but incredible leader. So I'm going to be playing as this Sertorian troops for this particular playthrough. And I don't know if you know the history of Sertorius, but Sertorius was... as I say, he ended up on the wrong side of the Marian-Sulan civil war, and he chose the Marian side. And Sulla won the war. He sort of also didn't really get on with the other generals on the Marian side of the equation. So Marius, of course, also then revolutionized the Roman army. So the Roman forces changed. I don't know if we can see that in through here. We should be able to sort of see it as we come back down through. These are, where is it? The 105 to 25 BC. If we have a look at these, we shouldn't have too many of the... We've still got the Thureophori there. Do we have the... This is just when the Marian changes came in. You've still got Roman legionnaires back in through this side. Just close that one off and just go back out to the one above this. This should be the pre-Marian. Yeah, we've got the veteran Hastati Princeps. These are this is essentially where the legions came from, and so this is playing as Sertorius is all around this aspect of sort of where we're actually playing. So the Hastati Princeps in through here. These are the Hastati. This is my understanding of it. The Hastati were the sort of like the younger guys that didn't have the best equipment. The Princeps or Principes or whatever, however you describe it, were these was the more veteran type troops. And the Marian reforms were based on supplying the equipment to poor men, so that they actually had the same sort of equipment as Principes, and then they could actually use that to then form a professional legion. Before that one, they've got the Triarii, which is the absolute elite, it should be. It's only got 240 men. That's why it's cheaper. And then the, where is it? There's the ones that go in front of that. The Velites. Okay, the Velites actually still stayed around. These were the poor guys. And they weren't even that poor, actually, in this era of the legions, but the Principes ended up becoming the model for Marian's army. And so when we go back out, if we do go across and play as the Spanish Sertorius, we have a bit of a mix in through here where we have some Roman legionaries that can actually then be used, not very many of them. And so then we have, so it's not too much in through here. What he tried to do is he tried to actually then go and because he was at war basically with the Roman world at that stage, but he still wanted to be on side with them. So he ended up trying to train up the Iberians to be able to then fight in the ways of Roman legionaries, and it just didn't work. And so he ended up having to sort of incorporate their lighter forces. So we've got the Celtiberian war bands, we've got the Lusitanian heavy Catrati. Now these Catratis are new to the game, and this is what has come through with the new patches. So we're going to be playing with these. And so the Lusitanians, these were about the heaviest of their medium foots they could make use of. And so the Spanish forces of this era are more about guerrilla warfare than about open warfare. So you've still got your heavy-hitting Roman legionaries. You've still got your fairly powerful war bands, which are just heavy foot as well, not disciplined though. And then you've got the Lusitanian heavy Catrati, which is really sort of like the backbone of these Spanish forces. You can see through here that we can actually get a lot of these. And you just have normal Catrati in through here as well. And so these are just light foot skirmishers. So these are guerrilla warfare. It's going to be difficult to fight with these. The noble cavalry has also undergone some changes. I don't know if the light javelin forces have as well, but I think they've been sort of just remodeled. So anyway, that's what we're going to be playing as. So we'll close this one off. And for potluck, and I won't go with potluck because if I use what can be sort of done against this Sertorian forces. He fought against all sorts of different groups over the course of his history. Like he fought for Rome, he fought in civil wars, he fought in all sorts of different things. He fought in basically 2 civil wars, all sorts of stuff, and ended up fighting pirates and all sorts of things. So anyway, you can see through here that he actually even had to fight against a lot of the other Spanish forces as well, back in through this side. But the main thing was he ended up having to fight against Pompey. and Metellus, I think it was, that was against him, and that they were trying to dislodge him from Spain. So we're going to go and put the Romans of that era. So these are the Romans with the Marian reforms. So they're going to be sort of full of all sorts of different things. This is what's going to make this one quite difficult. They do actually have some Spanish Scutari, which are also medium foot. And so these are similar to the Catri or the Catari, whatever have you pronounce it. So, so actually Van Bishop's then saying Sertorius One-Eyed died undefeated. He pretty much did. In the end, the only way they could get rid of him was to bribe his own men to go and assassinate him, which is what ended up happening. So it's a really fascinating history, actually. And as I say, because he was on the losing side of everything, essentially, even though he was undefeated, he really, the most underrated Roman general of all time. So anyway, we're going to be playing with his forces against the Romans, which will be very, very difficult. These are much more heavy hitting. You can see there that they've got veteran legionaries, which cost an awful lot. It's the same as ours, but anyway, it's going to be a difficult fight. So we're going to have to use basically those techniques. I'll just go back and just make this into a 3-battle system. I'll keep it on legate level. I can't remember which of these two is more my style or more where I can just hold on. But I think the fact that we're going up against Romans with more guerrilla type forces is going to make it difficult anyway. So let's just go and create a campaign with this one. So Camastar is saying, is this a 2-hour stream? Yes, it is. Yep. So we need to make big use of terrain. This is the only thing that's going to save us. So the luck of what we get as far as the terrain is going to be super important for us. So we've just got the objectives. This is just going to be a standard. This is just the enemy are offering open battle. And so we start off with just a small handful of troops. We've got 3 of the Lusitanian heavy Catrati, and we end up just having a group of these as well. So we've essentially just got 6 of our basic Spanish forces. Definitely going to go grab the 2 Roman legionaries, so we'll just grab both of those. The war bands, these are the only real heavy foot that we have. I mean, the Roman legionaries are heavy foot. These are going to be our most effective forces. These are not going to fight well in the sort of terrain that we need to fight in. In fact, let's just zoom back out and have a bit of a look to see. There's a big open area here, which does not suit us. Luckily, we can fight in here. We can fight across to here. We have this hill. I think it's going to be here. I think that, okay, we've got 4 slots in through there where we can use the Roman legionaries. The only heavies we actually have to fight in these open areas are the Roman legionaries and the Celtiberian warbands. So I'm going to have to get both of those as well. That's leaving us with still got 395 to spend. The heavy, the word heavy is, I guess, a bit misleading. What these are skirmishers, but with armour. And so these are armoured skirmishers, which makes them into medium foot rather than being light foot. Now, we've already got 3 of the light foot. I don't want to have too many of those. I do need to get some cavalry. So I'll get a couple of noble cavalry, because I'm going to need to sort of end up surrounding them, but I'm going to have to do that at just the right time in this battle. Across through here, I'll get a few more of these. Which I can get a lot of those. I'll get 4 of those. I'll grab a few of these as well, just a few more of those. What are we left with? 91. I can still get more noble cavalry. Don't have any light javelin horse. I'll go with one of those. Leaves me with 23. Okay, that's not going to quite work. Just right click on that one. That's 44. If I get one of those, I can then get myself another light through there. That almost spends all of our money. Okay, so that will work. And I'm just going to start by auto-deploying, and then we'll deploy properly. So deployment is really critical in this game, of course. So we'll just let it do where it wants to go, and that's not what we want to do. So we're just going to go and accept this. Now, 2 more generals to your army. Cool. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to... The heavy hitting, when we have a look at this terrain, this rough terrain, it's rough ground up there. It's actually open ground there. Didn't think it was. We have a height of 50. It goes from 100 to 50 down to 0. back in through there. We've got rough ground in through here. This is going to be the saving grace for our mediums. So we need to use a lot of the Catrati back across in that sense. The Roman legionaries I could leave, and the heavies I could leave back in through here. I can then also use this. If I press Control, we can then see this is difficult terrain, not open, severely disorders mounted, elephants, and heavy foot, disorders others except for light foot. So I can just leave a few of the normal Catrati back in through here, where they'll be sort of fairly effective. So they can actually take that flank. And if we Control click on this one, this is rough ground, not open, disorders mounted, elephants, and heavy foot, severely disorders cataphracts, heavy chariots, and scythe chariots. If we can get the Roman legions fighting in this, that's going to be ideal, which means that we're going to need to then sort of protect that with our other groups up across this line with the Catrati back over this side. That's going to have to be the sort of like the plan. So we're going to need probably one of the, this is the Lusitanian heavy Catrati back out through this side. We've got one of the Roman legionaries has already got the main leader, the commander-in-chief. I'll get the second Roman legion over through here with another general, and I think what I'll do is I'll add another one into one of these guys, and then they can just have their own little group that actually operates in this rough terrain. So now we just need to line them all up. So we're going to have I'm going to move these across to here. I do want to anchor the two edges. The war bands are going to go a little bit crazy in the middle there. They're going to be undisciplined, so we're just going to move the Roman legionaries on either side, I think, of the war bands. So we'll position those into there. Sort of zoom around so we can at least see the faces, I guess. Actually, that is now one of the. Actually, I forget what the is it F3. No, I forget what the command is to zoom in. There is a command to zoom right in. So we can sort of look at the changes that have actually now come in with the modelling. Now, as far as our cavalry is concerned, I do want to keep them back a little bit. I'll just move them back into here. Got the two noble cavalry, so I'll keep them. They're both together, and we have the javelin cavalry. Where are they? They're going to be out through this side. I'll keep them out here just to sort of scout out ahead. So, if you know what I'm saying, I should watch closely as this is a game I royally stink at. So, and same with the similar pike and shot. I just can't seem to be able to wrap my head around how you're supposed to play it properly. It is complex, but it actually also makes sense when you know the tabletop rules. And I think that that's the key to it, is the tabletop rules. I'm just going to go and this preparation is really important. To know where you want to have your fight occur is super, super critical. And so all of these heavy Catrati are going to dominate this hill and going to dominate this area through here. I want the Roman legions attacking me and through this side. And so it's we're just going to be pretty much just playing the tabletop rules. Now these guys in through here, I want to keep them sort of just in this area. I'll just move them back across just so that they're actually in that forest. We won't have them go out, even though they are skirmishers. We've got the heavy Catrati back in through here. I want to have the three that are going to come. I'm going to need another one back over this side. Let's just move that one over to there. I'm going to move these so that they actually end up going to this command. So they can be under the command of that leader. Now that's going to get us out to here. This is open ground in through here. This is actually that's open ground there in front of that one. This is rough ground here. So I just want to have, I'll still keep it like this. The other Catrati though, I'm going to be moving them back across the hill. So we'll just move that one up. And I'm going to probably need another one just as a bit of a flanking maneuver back over this side, just to help in here if required. But I don't think much is going to be able to really attack these guys in the forest. The forest is very good for those sort of skirmish type units. Then back in through here, we just need more to just help with our flank. We actually need a fair few of them there. I don't think we're going to need this one. I think what we'll do is we'll push that one back there as well. And so these guys, I think I'll just leave them actually hidden in the forest swap positions. So we've got the leader in the front there. So what we're thinking of is the key for us is using the actually the marshland there is also good for us. So if we have a look at the marshland, this is difficult terrain, not open. Severely disorders mounted, elephants and heavy foot, disorders others except for light foot. So this is why having our Katrati, our light foot over here is just going to be so critical, because we can really make good use of this. And we can even use this to then start to sort of come in and hem in the enemy. As long as we can scoop them into this little funnel here, we ultimately need to be going up against these heavies. They have to take the brunt of the attack while our mediums start to work on the flanks. And if we get attacked with the mediums, that shouldn't be a bad thing, I don't think. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. This is still going to be a very difficult fight. So we'll end our turn there. Okay, so what do we got? In deployment mode. Hang on, we're still there. What do I need to do? Confirm. Didn't I do that? Mustn't have. Here they come. So Roman legions are just going to be everywhere. We've got mediocre Roman legionaries, mediocre Roman legionaries back over this side. So they're really going to be quite wide. Yeah, Roman legionaries. So they're going to have to come across this terrain. So we're going to move. This little group is our advanced group. Actually, that one's still part of. He thinks he's part of that group. So I'm going to move that one up. Just want to get these into the right position. We'll move. I want this one to go right to that edge, and we don't want to go any further than that. The game also now has changed the rules that it uses very, very slightly. Actually, we'll move this one up into here. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I'll see what happens. I can actually now spin this one around. Being a medium troops, it's a bit more manoeuvrable than the heavies. Okay, that's what we need to do there. These guys here, I'm just going to leave them all open. We've got Sub-General Noble Cavalry back out through that side. We're not going to see all of their forces that have actually, we can sort of, there's only a little bit of fog of war back there that we don't get to see. It's sort of showing that most of the others is all okay, which is good. It's a bit unknown in through there. There's a question mark in there, question marks across here. Not that they're not going to have anything. That's not this. The Roman style is not to fight in this sort of guerrilla type way. So we're just going to end our turn there. Confirm. Yeah, they don't have too many of their own. They've got archers. They've got light javelinmen. Yep, that's okay. So I'm going to move this group up. It stops doing the manual one at a certain distance in, I think. I forget what that is. And we want to be fighting on the slope here. Alright, so we're going to leave this a little bit open to see if there's opportunities that come back the other way. These are in the right position. We don't need them moving off at all. We can't see into the marsh. That's all we need to do there. We'll end that turn. Confirm. Now, I'm not sure of the discipline of my Katrati as well. I don't know if they're going to go charging on after units if they sort of get a bit of a run on. Now, we're not seeing anything else really. We do actually already have, as long as we can do okay here, we may have to sort of come out and surround this group before we sort of know it really. They may try to sort of spin us all the way around. If that's the case, then we can still defend across this line. Just move this one across into here. So we can still defend this line to a degree, but we're going to have to then move these forces out very, very fast. In fact, we can do that now anyway. I think we'd better do that because this is going to get fairly tricky, I think. Because their forces are so far on our right, just move this around so we're looking from behind. I think it makes it a little bit easier to sort of see what's going on. I'll use 3 of these because there's just nothing here. Yeah, it's still in marsh. Yeah, I'll use 3 of these, moving these up. I'll still keep these hidden away in the woods. Still got these hidden away in the woods as well. Okay, we'll end our turn there. Oh, that one's retreating. They are coming down sort of where we wanted them to be. Okay, they're attacking our javelin soldiers. We should be able to smash this one. Yeah, we win on the impact, but not on the melee. Yeah, we fell back. That's okay. This is exactly what these sort of forces are supposed to do. It's now evading. That's going to then start to upset them a little bit. So what we want to do is we want to leave these in here until they start to wrap around into this rough terrain. The rough terrain is the key. Now, if we attack out of the rough terrain, we don't get any benefit. And if it's only if they attack into our rough terrain. So we want them to come in towards us. We've got Theriophori in through here as well. Now, these are only medium foot. They do fight well in this sort of area. These are very important for these Roman legionaries because they are the medium foot that can fight effectively against us. And so that's going to be interesting to sort of see how they work. That's actually a little bit overpowered with 504 men in that particular grouping. Now, as far as the rest of these are concerned, if we just control, actually, if I just right-click, is it control? Yeah, I can then sort of see what's going on here with the points of advantage. So just very, very briefly, we lose and we lose. So these guys aren't going to do all that well. We can sort of see what the difference is through here by just pressing control. So the game is actually played with points of advantage. So our Celtiberian Warband, 14. The 14 is the ID number. Impact foot plus 200, deep impact foot plus 10 against enemy Roman legionaries where they have deep impact foot the same as us, but troop quality of plus 50. So the net point of advantage for the enemy unit is plus 40. The points of advantage modifier for the enemy unit is 12%. And the combat strength modifier is none. So that gives us sort of like, it's a bit of a dark art as to how that actual number is worked out, like the 6%, the 69 or the 25. And so the impact is when they first join shields and sort of clash into each other. The melee is after they've actually then locked together in combat. It changes the perspective of what they can actually do. Once that's actually happened, then it becomes the melee, which is ongoing. And at that point, we then suffer even worse. So we're not too bad at charging. But we then go from being impact foot to just swordsmen. They do as well. They have better armor than us. So they have an armor advantage of 25 and a troop quality of 50. So their quality is still better than ours. And that ends up meaning that they end up with more, they get plus 75 points of advantage, which makes it so that it ends up where they end up getting it, like we're going to lose it 41% of the time. That's not something that we want. And so that's why we need to sort of end up trying to get in behind these at some point if we can. It's going to be sort of fairly important if we can do that. The other forces, I can use this one. This is going to be the key to everything because as these come in and take these on, there will be other gaps opening up. Now we can see through here, there's only a mediocre Roman legionary. If I right-click on this one, we'll see that we actually have a very, very good chance to win this one right from the start. 43 with the impact phase and then 50% after this one. And if we just once again click on this for the sake of interest, you can see there the impact foot plus 200. The enemy is just mediocre legionaries. They have only impact foot of 200. The troop quality for us is plus 50, and we have the general in here as well, which gives us another plus 50. So our point of advantage is plus 100, and then after morale, after melee starts, the only differences that we have there are we have swordsman plus 100, but then we still have the extra 100 again as well for the troop quality and the general. So that's going to be worth doing. I think I'll get started with this one because I can see there's another big group coming back in the other way. Now, that was even. Unfortunately, we didn't sort of really do anything sort of too dramatic. They've got a sub-general coming back over this side, which will then open up, will free up what's actually happening through these other sides. I'm just going to go across. Again, my forces here will actually win the impact, but sort of lose the others. And I just want to just keep them sort of throwing their javelins at this stage. Eventually, we want to come running out when just before battle is started. I may even swing this one around, actually, just so we end up sort of getting it in around there. Actually, if I do it this way, I can still just get ready. Okay, that's got 2 of them that have now done it. We don't have anything else we can do here. I'll leave the others where they are. If we get pushed back, this will then be just to sort of help out with the other fights. So we've only got the one that's now joined in. I can join in with this one as well. And you can see there, we're not going to do too well against a Roman legionary, even though it's only mediocre. Definitely not going to do well. If I go against this one as an example, you can see there that it's fairly even. Actually, it's not super bad. Against the Thureophori, though, it should be fairly even. Should we do well there because we've got the general? If we do this one, if we win the. Oh, damn it! I didn't mean to do that. Oh, we disrupted it anyway. That's not what we want. This one's now just been sacrificed. You didn't like the Greeks, the Greek allies that were in there with that one. I don't think I can undo that anyway. That's a bad mistake because we're now outside of the terrain that's there to protect us, and we're going to have other legionaries. This thing's going to be wiped out. It's going to be completely wiped out. That was a big mistake. Oh well. That's what you get, I guess. So anyway, we're just going to end our turn here. Confirm. Now, these are still holding on. We're just going to have to hope that they hold on enough. Here they go. Now, we want these to actually fall back into this position. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, they're going to come in and surround us. You can see the AI is really quite clever with what it does. And so we've now been blocked in. They're going to get a flanking attack against us next turn. In fact, they've got a melee there. Now, we've fragmented them, but they're still holding on. We should win this one. Actually, no, we're still not winning it. This guy, at least the Thureophori has been sort of damaged, but we're going to lose this unit. It's going to be absolutely smashed for the simple reason what they've now done is that they've got units on either side that can now get a really solid flanking attack, and that's really what the game is all about. This guy is now straightened up. I'm going to move this one. I can't move this one until this one's engaged. You can see there I can't actually move it forward, but I can if this one engages. And I do actually have... No, I lose everything. I lose everything with this. I can't do anything until it engages. I still want it facing because I need to get flanking shots in. I can't use these to really do anything. I am going to now start the process of charging this thing. There we go. It's disrupted, and we should now get another one in through here. And that should run. Oh, it fell back. Interesting. Alright, we can keep it going. It's now evading. And we're now getting in behind the enemy forces. I don't think there's any reason to keep these back where they were, so let's move them back up now. Get all of our skirmishers back out now just to get in and try to break this corner if we can. The others, if they attack him, I don't get a good attack against this. Like, that's going to just be terrible for us. So we've lost one of our units. I'm going to move up. Just take that, fill that gap, and I can then just I'll rotate these. Some of these will be able to, I think. Maybe not. No, they're not. Alright, so that then means that we're going to need to keep on smashing these. That's disrupted. And really the best shot that we have would be to go after at least some of these and do some sort of damage. They've got Thracians with the Rompalia as well. These are medium foot as well. They're going to do fairly well in the rough terrain. It's really important to make good use of the rough terrain. Now I'm going to keep my cavalry back where it is for an extended period, really, until they're really engaged against the guys that are in through here. So I think we'll still be okay. Yeah, with that one there. Where's that undo button when you need it? It won't do it simply because it ends up, it's really designed to be playing as multiplayer. Actually, Richard York and myself were talking. We're going to try to do a bit of a session on YouTube, I think, which we've been about it just before Christmas, but we still haven't got to it just yet, just to have a bit of a play with the game as a... don't know whether we would try to do it multiplayer or even just sort of talk about the game in depth at some stage, because he plays a lot of this. And I love this game as well, but I'm not as good at it as he is. Anyway, let's just continue on. We're just going to go across. We're going to end our turn there. So we've got the battles are still going in. Actually, I'll fight this one if there may be an opportunity for us. By the way, if you miss an action like this one here, it has to happen. If I don't shoot this one, like if I don't actually do this one now, it will do that at the end of my turn, and then it will still have another turn. So no matter what, it will still do what it's going to do. And so anywhere where I can sort of see this colour and through here means that this is an actual activity that I have to do. So I'm going to go and fight this one as well. You can see our win chance is only 2%, but our draw chance isn't super bad. Now, if they attack in through here, they're going to have a good chance to win in through this one, and then they'll get in behind us. And this is why I needed to keep a reserve to be able to then sort of come across. I'm going to actually now rotate, because this isn't going to go well for us. I'm going to need to rotate. Actually, do I want to rotate all the way around? You know, I think I do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate. I'm going to assume that this thing is going to be pushed all the way back. And if that's the case, then I'm going to need to move this one up. It's going to get quite tricky managing the collapse of these Celtiberian warbands. This one up through here is just going to be a loss, but I still need to fight. Let's just see if we can win this one. There's a chance we can crack away from these and chase it through the enemy forces. Breaks, but oh, hang on. This is one of the new. Oh, we've disrupted heaps. Wow, what a great move. What a superior move to go out and attack the Thureophori. So, Lady Condenser saying, is that Dazza here? And when did Slytherin hire you? No, I do a lot of streaming over here. Yes, it is Daz Tactic. I should have said that at the start of this. My name is Daz Tactic. Yeah, I have a lot of different videos on YouTube, of course, and I stream regularly on Twitch. Stream on my own channel most days, but it's a stream on Slytherin every so often, so which I really enjoy. So anyway, we've got the Spanish Scutari back in through here as well. Now this is interesting. The Spanish Scutari are I guess the default medium forces for the Spanish, and they have, if we can sort of rotate this around a little bit, I forget what the keyboard shortcut is to zoom in. What is it? What is it? I don't think we're going to see it here. Toggle casualties. Let's see if I can find it. It's unmoved. It's sort of, whenever I record on YouTube for it, I always make sure that I can actually go and remember it. Like I actually review, like try to figure out what it is. Is it W? No, W is just moving forward. I don't think we can even sort of see. If I press escape, just go to settings, tooltips. Yeah, no, it's not going to be that one. No, can't see it there. Okay, just press escape again. All right, so we still have to fight against the Scutari. Now, the Scutari, you can see the difference between having the Catrati, which is the new guys in here. Some of them have got armor and some of them don't. So they're a bit of a mishmash of different sorts of troops. Technically, some of them were heavy fighters and some of them were medium fighters. In fact, they were worse than medium fighters. And the Whereas the Skitarii didn't have the armor. They had the helmets, but they didn't actually have the armor, but they had a bigger shield. And so it gave them better protection with the shield. And these guys only had a small shield. So they're sort of still mediums versus mediums. You can see they're all fighting away there on the side there. Let's just go after this guy. Now that one, we may do okay again here. No, we didn't. Now we're going to get smashed here. This is going to be an absolute... they're going to rip us apart. I think R is a default zoom. No, that's not it. I just tried it. There is a way of zooming right in close, and I just can't think of what it actually is. I don't want to be pressing too many different keys. I thought it was one of the F keys. I thought it was F3, but I tried that one and it wasn't that. Okay, so we're going to be using our skirmishers, our light javelin horse. We can only really go against these until they actually close in on this unit. So we've now gone with all of the different attacks. There's nothing else that we need to do here. I can just press tab and just go through anything that hasn't moved. It's really not going to help us to go and start this fight early. Got those units, got this unit. I don't want to do anything through here either. You can see even with this one we lose overall. This is their commander. Actually, this is Satilius Lentulus, their commander-in-chief. And so we've got only a sub-general back in through this side. That's why we're going to have to surround this unit. Now, there's going to be big opportunities for us as long as we manage that properly. Because I've got to be careful what I click on now. As long as we manage the trap that we have set with these heavy Catrati back in through there, it's all going to come down to that, I think. So we'll confirm the end of the turn. So they're routing. We flank attacks, we drop on, and we're broken straight away. Now, actually, unfortunately, we've got no gap for it to break into. It's just going to keep on running around. And now we just got disrupted and we got pushed back straight away. This is actually what's sort of okay. I can now spin this one around, and we ultimately, as long as we can somehow hold on at the back there, we'll actually be okay. I don't think this one's going to be able to get away anywhere. Hold on, guys. That's good. Okay, we want them to be even. We want this one to. We want to start dominating here. We disrupted that when we pushed it back, so we're now pushing it back. Oh, there we go, and that's beautiful. That little plan that we had pre-arranged to go after the Theophori has worked perfectly, and we've now got their little gap and for these guys to hopefully actually come back into the battle again. Probably just in time to get a flanking attack against Tullius Lentulus. Now we're going to be moving across. Now these guys, the trouble that we have now is that this one is going to try to lock us in, and so this is where the game gets really, really clever, because what it'll do is if I turn and face this, it doesn't even have to attack me. In fact, if it attacks me, it locks me in. But even if it just moves in and faces me, and which is sort of what it's doing through here, you can see here it's got like a this dark coloured square means that this is actually fully protected by this group, and this one here is there's still a zone of control being exerted across here, which means that you can't act on this. So I'm still going to do this because this is my best move, will be to get a flanking attack against this guy as long as these can hold on. But this one here will cause the problem. What it doesn't know is I've got these guys to help with this one if there's a problem. So we've got a lot of fighting going on. Let's just actually see what actually happens here. I should have done this one before we did that one. Oh, not good. We're fragmented now. So we're going to be running from here as well. Hopefully they'll bounce back though. So these warbands just aren't really all that good. So I can't attack this turn because I've just did the move with my legionnaires. I can move in. Trouble will be is that they will still get an attack coming back in. I can't actually attack it in any sort of sense. I can attack this one. Just getting behind these. Got a lot to consider at this point in time. While there's still opportunity, I'll turn and shoot at these. Just try to do some damage. I'm even going to move this one in. He's going to end up attacking this. They'll run away, and then he'll attack this in the flank. It actually won't be a flank attack though. Technically it will, but I still got to risk that this is still going to somehow work for me. I don't think it's going to work though. My best bet now is that this group of heavy Castrati actually come good and allow us to get flank attacks against that general. Or we end up with really superior fights back in through here. Smash these, which we should do. That's now fragmented. And so it's one turn off breaking. This one here is still just hanging on. Just all I can hope for is just evens. No, we held firm though. We did get pushed back, unfortunately. So this is now not good unless these guys come to right now. So you can see there the Celtiberian warbands just aren't really worth much. Now I don't want to be attacking these Roman legionaries from this location. I'm just going to go and position this so that we face that. We'll face this as well. Until everything is fully engaged, I don't want to do anything at all. Now, these may try to sneak in behind everything. I'm going to go in and still attack. What have we got there? Thracians with Rombalo. If we go and attack these, we don't do very well. I'm just going to keep on working on these. Okay, we still haven't actually connected with them. So we certainly have forces in behind their forces, but they're only lights. This is not working all that well. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm assuming that these are hidden. Yeah, we're moderately disordered while we're in here. I don't know if we've been seen yet. Everything's going to hem on what happens in here. And I know this thing's going to be attacked by this group, by this sub-general. And it's going to be interesting to sort of... That should end up being fairly even. This is my best chance of actually getting an advantage to come in behind. But it's going to take up a fair bit of time. Right, okay, so so Van Bishop is saying... there must have been a question, sorry, about the... it's you're saying it's Ceterius Iberic troops versus Rome around 70 to 75 BC it is. So it's actually in the BCs. So I think that he was fighting Rome, what, from 78, I think, down to when did he die? 70? Yeah, I think it's in that era anyway. And so it would be like Sertorius's troops versus like Pompeian type troops. I would guess, if you were sort of trying to guess what was actually happening in through here. And it's a campaign. It's a custom. It's a random campaign, but it's against the Italic. Sorry, not the Italic. The Spanish Sertorian troops versus the Roman troops is how that one actually does work. So anyway, we'll just end our turn. Nothing we can really do. Again, a lot of the game is really just trying to maintain positions. So this is going to be really interesting to see what actually happens over here. That one rallied, unfortunately. That one rallied, unfortunately. Damn it. Now they're charging us. And we actually did well because they're fighting. This is actually worth having a bit of a read off. So this was actually a group of Roman legionaries, which should really outclass our Lusitanian heavy castrati. So it's impact foot. The first one is because they're both impact foot. They both have the plus 200. They have a plus 50 troop quality, so their troop quality is better than ours. And so the net advantage to them is plus 50, which gives them a 16% enemy modifier. The combat strength modifier is none. The morale disorder. Now, when it goes through, so the morale disorder, moderately disordered, minus 22%. So overall, the enemy legionary slightly disadvantaged versus our heavy castrati because it gets disordered by attacking into rough terrain. Our guys are sort of sitting in amongst the rocks. These guys are trying to maintain their line and move forward with their sort of heavy shields, heavy equipment, and we can sort of jump, basically from rock to rock and sort of stab where we need to. And so the result was that we actually won. I don't know what the odds would have been. It wouldn't have been that much, but it went from plus 16 to minus 22. So it is fairly substantial in terms of what it can actually do. So they took 43 casualties. They did a cohesion test. When you actually take a lot of casualties, they do a cohesion test. They actually did okay. They lost a close combat round against ours. They're still steady. Everything is actually okay. And so everything is actually fairly good. The enemy held firm. Our casualties were just 11. So that's sort of what actually ends up happening with that one. I love that you can sort of really see exactly what's happening from the tabletop perspective of the game. And so what our troops are also doing is we're maintaining an area where we're protecting zones. Now we're going to be pushed back. Now we're broken there. It's now routing. Yeah, we're locking it, sort of locking it in. And we're going to not do well here as well. We did hold firm. That's important. They broke. Now that's good. That opens up. Now they've now seen the threat from this. I love this game. God, it's good. And here we go. We've actually now got, these guys have just come back in. The grand plan of going after the Thurii has worked beautifully because we now have these heavy castrati right in a position where they can actually start to turn and get ready to attack the flank of these Roman legionaries. Awesome stuff. And then, of course, this one now we've got a bit of a threat coming in from two flanks in through here. We've got Roman legionaries in through this side that are keeping us locked in. This one in through here will be trying to get in behind us and get a flanking attack against our commander-in-chief. So we've still got a lot going on at this point in time. We're just going to keep on working away at these guys, try to sort of do as much damage as we possibly can with our skirmishers. There we go. We just dropped a little one of the units. I should point out the units that you're seeing through here are once again modelled on the tabletop system, and I think that each one of them essentially sort of represents like 60 men. I think it was from memory the way that actually does work. So in the tabletop game, if you're interested in this game at all, you should actually try to have a read of the tabletop rules. I think they're available online somewhere, and they do explain how to play the game tabletop, and God, it makes a massive difference when you actually see how that's actually done. I'm just going to move this one around and keep on firing. Now they're holding firm. They've got to do cohesion checks after they do take that much sort of the range. Now there's one more. Yeah, we've got this guy at the back here. There's the legionaries. Well, we've got this one here, which we can just go after. Let's just smash it. Okay, it's now fragmented. It went straight to fragmented. And we'll just keep on pushing these back with these skirmishers with our castrati. So these are castrati exactly like the ones on through here, but they just don't have the mix of heavy equipment that we can sort of, or heavier equipment that we can sort of see in through here. Now we're going to have to fight this one as well. This one is going to be a slight win to us because it's still happening through the disordered. If I control click on this one, we can see what's going on through this side. So our guys are just swordsmen, so we get plus 100. They're also just swordsmen. They've got an armor advantage of 25, troop quality advantage of another 50. So it gives them 75. But then once again the morale disorder, the enemy unit is moderately disordered simply because it's fighting into where we are. It started the attack. If we had started the attack going the other way, we wouldn't have this advantage. So we're just sort of defending, but we still have to do this. Okay, that was just even. We're going to expect to see a lot of this. For example, if I go to attack this one, you'll see that initially, actually, what is that? Is that just the? That's just the Romphalias. Which is not actually heavy at all. I'm just going to let them sort of come in and do the attack on me at this stage. We've got these, we've got this armored general. I thought it was going to try to get around the outside, and this is where we need these guys to come charging out of there when it's time. But it's not time yet. We actually have the Spanish Scutari. If we attack them, we get a slight advantage at the start. Let's just bounce in. I can also attack these. It's a flank charge, but it won't drop because these are only light troops. But it will still cause some issues. Let's just do it. Like we're much more inclined to bounce back like this. So we're sort of, it's a bit risky doing that, but we did take we've got rid of a fair few of their men. They've actually now lost two of their little, no, they've still got, so they've lost one of their men, one of their indicators, essentially the things that sort of show the amount of troops. Okay, so we've got this one here. We'll just keep on smashing this one. Now that we've sort of got it, it's now fragmented after that one. It's now locked in, but this is going to actually suit our purposes. So sometimes they won't bounce back away from the fight, but we'll get these archers away. That won't be a problem. Not that it really matters that much. Keep all of them where they are. Now I've got to be really careful. I do get a flanking charge here, but it won't drop. We do get the win, but then we have a slight problem. This is going to be a tricky one, actually. I'm still going to do it. We have, and they actually fought very, very well. Okay, my best bet now is to move these up and spin these around. I now need to get another flanking shot with these next turn. So they've now come out of their hiding spot and ready to attack next turn. These hopefully will just, they're right next to the Commander-in-Chief. So they should be feeling good about themselves. This one can attack me. They can both attack me, essentially, but they can't, as long as I don't attack this turn. If I attack this turn, I then turn to face this unit, which then opens up my flank to this group. So I can't do that. I'm locked in. I can't even turn to actually go and help these guys because I'll then be attacked in the rear. So I'm in trouble, basically. I've gone too far out. So I'm going to have to really rely on these heavy castrati to, not castrati, catrati, to actually then do what they're got to do. Castrati is something very, very different. I haven't been saying that all the way through. Now, the mediocre legionaries, we do get a win there, but then actually we get a win all the way through there. We also have the light javelin men. If I attack through there, they're going to run. We're going to then run up into the middle, which is not we've got Roman legionaries coming in behind. It's just not going to work. See a few of the laughs there in the comments. All right, so we'll just keep on. You can see the intricacies. Like if you know what's going on with the protecting of ground, like this unit here, for example. Actually, I'll just try to. Why haven't we seen that one? These are locked in. This one, for whatever reason, is not showing the ground that it's protecting. It is protecting these three and through here. I'm not sure why that wouldn't be showing that. Because it can, and as long as, like this is our flanking maneuver through here, even if it comes in from this position and ends up in this spot and attacks into here, what that's going to then end up doing is it's going to, it's not going to be a flanking charge because it started in front of us. In fact, it may even try to get into here to actually stop this one from doing a flanking attack, and that would actually work. So it's really interesting what the options that this unit now has just by moving that one around from facing over through here to facing this side in that one turn completely changes this area of the battle. It's, as I say, so intricate, this game. It's just incredibly good. All right, back in through here. We'll just leave it where that is. I think we'll just end our turn. Confirm that. Hold on, hold on. Yes! That was good, that was good. Still going after. There's a charge going in there. That was even. That's going to be okay. Oh, they've gone this way. Okay, that's interesting. Now, they've charged us. And they've fallen back, unfortunately. There's going to be a bit of toing and froing while they try to do this against these guys. This is now, yeah, it's getting interesting through here. Okay, we've now got opportunities here. We have got opportunities. This is really interesting. It's sort of funny. I don't know if it's just the nerd in me that just loves the tension that this thing has now got in it when you know what's going on. We've just broken that one. We're doing okay, actually, with this fight. We should break this one as well. No, we didn't quite get there. Oh, yes, we rallied again. We rallied again. So we've now, like this little break that we had through here has actually now completely changed the complexion of what's happening in this side of the battle. I now have a flanking charge. And the cohesion now will drop on impact. And you can see there that I get a win straight away. So even though this one hasn't taken any real damage, this guy has held on. That last move where it actually was sitting here already disrupted against a full Roman legion that was going up against it, to hold on there, that was heroic stuff. And so it's actually held a position that's allowed our special sneak troops, the ones that we accidentally used against the Thureophori, that just happened to now be in a position for a perfect flanking attack, which will now drop that down to disordered. And that's going to completely change the complexion of this fight. And we're going to end up with a 2-to-1 fight now after this one. So the first one we get the flank charge where the cohesion will drop on contact. We then have the impact win, and we may even end up with like a double hit here and get it down to fragmented. So we're just going to smash it, flank it up, it goes straight to disrupted. So just to explain what's going on there, it's a flank or rear attack. We get plus 200 points for that one. The net advantage for us is 64, but being Roman legions, it looks like they held on pretty well. So their actual casualties were only 13, so they didn't actually, we still get the drop down to disordered or disrupted, but it still ended up being an even fight. So it didn't work out the way we wanted it to work. Now we've still got one more opportunity back in through here. I've got this one in through here. If I attack this one, it's not going to be all that good. If I attack this one though, I now get another flank charge, and this one will then drop. And remember, this is their commander-in-chief. So we actually end up with a massive win by hiding that unit back in through here. And I thought actually what was going to end up happening is we'd be fighting these battles back here somewhere with this unit coming in to do the flank charge. But we've now got it in a position where it can now spin around, and actually, and this is exactly the way these Spanish troops should sort of be used, because we've got our Roman legions sort of locking them in, and then we've got our heavy guerrilla forces coming back in around behind it. And so this is going to now drop on like down to the next level. So bang, in we go. Let's disrupt it, and we did big damage as well. In fact, this is great. This is awesome, because what's actually happened is we've got the flank or rear attack of plus 200. We get plus 64 for this particular attack because it can't really do anything. It's already engaged. The enemy unit just became disrupted. Overall, our guys massively advantaged versus the enemy veteran Roman legionaries with our guerrilla attack. Results, our unit 1, where our casualties were 7, theirs was 50. So this is actually another one where they've taken massive damage, which means that they then have to do another cohesion roll. Cohesion test, so enemy veteran Roman legionaries lost close combat round against our guys. Existing morale state was disrupted. Generally in line of command, fighting in close combat nearby, so they get a +1 with that one. So this is sort of like extra points. I think these are rolled on a dice. Like I don't know if it's 1 or 2 dice that get rolled if you're playing the tabletop game. Significant melee casualties received this turn, so it goes from -1 because they're disrupted, +1 because they've got a general, -1 because they've got this one, close combat round badly, another -1 through there, and then it's sort of like you both roll a dice and see what actually ends up happening. Fighting impact foot, additional modifier for the above, -1, heavy foot +1, and so you end up with a combination of -2, and so the enemy veteran legionaries 5 became fragmented. So that's dropped 2 levels in one go, and what that's going to mean is that they're going to run now. When we have a look at our group now, we now suddenly are no longer fighting at a disadvantage. We now have a massive advantage. Our actual amounts now have gone from where we were slightly negative to being fairly positive. So we've got a 77% chance we're going to smash him again. And if we smash him again, he's likely to run. Get a big number here, bang, 33, but it didn't actually run this time. So I won't go through all of this. It's really just going to be the bottom one here. So lost heavy foot badly. So the modifiers were still another -2. No further cohesion drop because enemy unit already dropped cohesion from close combat this turn. Okay, so it can't drop it twice. Score not low enough to cause a further drop. And so we didn't actually get but we've done massive damage. You can see there, these guys they're going to run. Next turn, they're going to be absolutely destroyed. And from there, we're then going to be able to start to roll up the flank of these units. I'm just going to keep everything sort of now coming where I don't want them running away. So I'm going to move this one into... I've got to think about what I do here. This one I still can't move. I'm still locked in. I'm now locked in both ways. I've got this one and this one coming in. They can only really be effective if one attacks me one turn and then the other one attacks me the turn after. If they both attack me the same turn, I'm going to be okay. The others I'm just going to keep where they are. We have to do this battle. We might as well just get this one out of the way. Got a slight advantage in there. And then this one should be fairly even, I think. Yeah, so 15-12. It's just not going to really matter that much. Now, what else do they have? All they've really got is they've only got their cavalry, which is back over this side. So now what we can do is we can now come back out this way, move this one out to here, and get ready to turn that one around. Now, they can get a rear attack against us, but if no matter what happens next turn, we're going to be able to then come back in and really destroy this one as well. So that now the trap is now sort of falling into place. So we can now come back into this side and protect this group by locking this one in. And so all we do is just position that one. It's now locked in. Time for these guys to now come out of their spot. Out you come, guys. Okay, so we've now got our cavalry coming in. Surprise! We've now got everything sort of coming in behind. I can now keep on just sort of doing these where we sort of smash into the side of these. I could even go after the one at the back if I wanted to. I don't want to lock that one in, to be honest. We're going to get these anyway next turn. I think what I'll do is I'll just spin this one around. Just get that one with a bit of preparation. This one's fragmented, so we shouldn't have any worries at all with our skirmishers here. These don't fight very effectively at all with what we're actually doing through here. So we've got this group. Now these are now turning around. These irregular foot are medium foot as well, but they're nowhere near as good as our Catrati. Our Catrati are the ones that they're a better quality of fighting force than these irregulars. And so I don't know. I don't think they're just coming around to try to protect the others if they can. This is still the mediocre Roman legionaries. I don't want them coming back. Let's just smash them again. Just keep them. Just get them off this battlefield. I'm sort of thought the Thureophori may have come back into it. Isn't it funny how the game changed with this unit, where I did exactly what I didn't want to do? It's really funny. God, it's a funny game. It's really cool. But we're actually now in an extremely strong position. So, oops, sorry guys. I'm just going to just turn that off. And we'll keep on going. So I'll end my turn. I think we've done everything we need to do. Sorry, I'm going to have to just take this. Yeah, sorry, that's okay. All right, so yeah, that's all right. My wife forgot that I was actually at a scheduled live stream because I don't normally live stream at this time. Right, so I thought we've done. I think we've done pretty much everything we need to do except for these guys here. So we're just going to move this one across. I'm still going to keep harassing this one. Might as well really roll this up. And what I want to do here is I want to just move these across. Oh, hang on, I've sort of screwed this up slightly. Let's just get these so we've got them just forcing. The only way out from here is to come back out this way, which will be fine for me. So I'm going to leave that where there's only one gap back out this way or this way. I think it'll go this side if it has to, which isn't great. I should have closed that gap up. I had the opportunity to and I didn't do it. I'll blame my wife for that one. All right, so tab across. What else have we got left? We've still got the fights that are going to be coming in through this side. We've still got this one here. So we still actually, you can see, because these guys are so badly disordered now, that really the fight is just ineffective. They're sort of like their heart's not in it from both sides, and so you've got a very small win chance. This is where the game just models these sorts of things so incredibly well. And there's a slight chance you get an advantage, but really all they're doing is just biding their time. And so that's what's going to happen now with this fight from this period. But then we're going to be able to use these guys to then smash this one as well. All right, so tab across. I can't move that one. This one is locked in. I hope this makes sense. I hope I've explained this enough. Where if I attack this one, it gives them a flanking shot. So I can't even move my commander-in-chief. He has to just stay where he is. and back and through here again. I don't want to be leaving the rough ground to then go and fight the legionaries. I just want to stay where I am. I'm doing well anyway, so I might as well just draw them all in. So we've got all of these located. I can't actually attack this one at all with these forces. If I move away from here, they'll run this way, and I'd prefer to have them at least run through my forces. So I've got an opportunity to sort of keep on putting the pressure on it, and also for them to get in the way of everything else. Okay, we'll just end our turn there. If anyone's got any questions about what we're doing as well, just sing out. Like I'll try to explain what's going on. Oh no, that's rallied! We don't want that, and we're locked in, unfortunately. They're going to do better. There we go. They've charged us. And so this is just going to be a fairly even one, where we've got two generals. Everything should be... Yeah, there's no modifiers at all. They've just come in. Proceed. They're now... this is now... What this has done, this has actually just opened up the gap in here, but they're now fighting against the rough terrain again. We'll do okay with this. So this is actually going to work in our favour. And again, they're just fairly even until the next turn. And that's just their hearts not back in through there, in through the back end there. It's going to go very, very well. This one still holding firm, but did fall back. Come on, guys, do the damage again. Yes, we fragmented them again. That's lucky. And this one should run. It's held firm. Sometimes you get these really heroic last stands, and it wasn't all that effective. Okay. So it's just 1 versus 1 over here. We'll have a slight advantage. I won't do that one just yet. Now, I can't do anything with these, but what I can do is I can just still keep on... I can start to plug the gaps back in through here. Our lights can sort of move anywhere. If I move into this one, this thing will actually disintegrate. Even though it won't actually be attacking anything, it's just going to be sitting here. It means that this one's got nowhere to go. And so we've got a 38% chance there. We should have an even bigger chance in through here. 84%. Let's go for it. Oh, they're holding firm. This is what I mean about these last stands. You know, the flag is now starting to really become tattered as the men sort of drop. 49%. We've got a better chance in here again. Oh, God. They're holding on. In through here, we're not going to have much happen at all. So I'll just do these. 8%, 3%. We've only got a slight chance because it's 2 to 1. If it was 1 to 1, they'd actually do better. As you can see, we've got a slightly losing chance with that one. This one in here. Look, I'll take this. You'll notice that the numbers slightly change a little bit. It doesn't give you the exact numbers. It's sort of just... I'm not sure why. It sort of obfuscates them slightly. We've got a slight winning chance simply because we're fighting from disordered land. Oh, just from rough land. This one here I'm not going to attack with just yet. This one here, now we've got a light javelin, but there's more Roman legionaries coming from behind. We now have a flanking shot against this one with these Thracians. We can now start the whole process of winding everyone up. So we're going to now move this one around. And we're going to spin this one around so that we're actually now facing that one. And this one we can't quite do anything with. So I'm just going to go and position that one there. No matter what I do, it's going to... I'd love to be able to actually keep it. Great. We've now locked it in. This means that it cannot run. So we can now do an attack against it. You can see there we're going to lose it, but then we're going to be able to come in subsequent rounds to then do more damage against it. So it's now locked in between two of them. We still can't attack with these, but next turn we can. Now we have this one here where we do a flank charge where the cohesion will now drop because we're coming in from the actual flank. I'll just talk a little bit about if we were here attacking it, we're attacking its front. Its front is these three through here. And so if we were from this side, all we'd be doing is just adding into it. That's why it was worth wasting the turn to come out to this side. So we're actually going directly down the side of it. And that's going to give us this, this flank charge. It will drop on contact. We're going to do massive damage. It's disrupted. And we hopefully get another one as well. No, it held firm. It didn't go down to fragmented. But this is now going to give these guys a big advantage as well. 61%. Bang, in we go. Not a problem. We still have these. Now, if I attack these are still going to sort of win because of what we have. But I've got to be careful. If I engage with this one, I then present my flank to this Roman legionary. This is where it just gets a bit tricky. So again, I really can't afford to do anything. I've just got to stay where I am. So they're just going to stay where they are. They're going to stay where they are. I could attack these. You can see there that we do actually have an advantage against these guys because we actually have a general in here. That's why I wanted one general in amongst these at the start, just so I could actually use these to supplement any attack that we have to have just to get a few more points of advantage. That extra 50 points of advantage can make a massive difference. In this case, it does give us, against the mediocre Roman legionaries, does give us a bit of an advantage. You can see I can't attack this one because this one's locking me in. This little line here means we're being locked in. Beautiful game, as I say. I absolutely love it. Just go tab across. I've got this unit that's now in behind. There's really nothing for it to do, so I'll just move it down. It should be out of ammo, I would have thought. I don't know, I've still got 4 turns of ammunition left with that one, 3 turns with this one. So there's still a fair bit of ammunition left for our skirmishers. This group and through here, just leave that one where that is. So I just want this one locked in. I can actually still escape that way as well. Actually, I forgot about that. Look, I'll still just leave them where they are. Can't do anything, can't assist at all. In fact, what I could do would be to move this one around to here, and we can really lock it off. Now we've got no points of escape for this unit at all. Okay, so we'll just end our turn there. Confirm. Okay, so Finn Dota is saying, which game is this one? This is Field of Glory 2. Now they've dispersed. There's a few that actually came good again. They're broken again. What was it? It was the Spanish Scutari actually came good. So they're moving back into this sort of position. Now, they're going to be... Here we go. They disrupted and fell back, but we've still got some attacks going in, and we'll then get the rear attack next turn with the other one anyway. It's going to be fairly even through here until we get a good advantage. We may get a slight advantage back over through here at some point. Their general is actually fairly badly... we disrupted somewhere else. I didn't see where that one was. Yeah, that's okay. This one... Oh, they rallied. That's what I mean about these heroic defences. They've actually rallied. And they could still hold the day. That's their commander-in-chief. I don't know what the odds are, but there is an odd that they will actually end up with the being able to sort of come back because of their commander in chief. But I don't know how that's calculated. These guys are still running this warband. It'd be sort of handy to have that one back in. Yeah, we've only got, so we're getting worse results, but we still have a slight advantage. Oh, they've been completely fragmented as far as their forces. You can see our actual sub-general has not had any real issue. I'm surprised that their general is still alive. There's a chance when they're fighting that the generals will be killed, and particularly when they're surrounded like this. It's just crazy stuff. These guys don't really have their heart in this fight. I need to get someone in behind them. They're just flailing, sort of not even wildly, just gently jabbing at each other. I can't use these either to come back in. They're just not heavily armoured enough. This side here, we'll just keep the casualties coming. See if we can do some damage with these. Now we should smash this one, no problem. There we go, it's now broken. That's disrupted this one. That then gives me an advantage here. So I could go after this one if I wanted to. It didn't really work that way. Okay, I can't move that one out. This one's now ready for the next attack. Okay, here we go. Now we have a flank charge. Cohesion will drop on contact. The wind is going to be a big one. It's now broken straight away. And so we've smashed it just by our surprise cavalry attack. I'm going to let that cavalry chase that commander across the battlefield. These are our guys as well. So these disrupted. We don't have much there. Let's just move these around. Just try to get in behind the enemy. Yeah, can't move those. It's going to be very, very even with that rough terrain. These are going to fight each other ragged until hopefully we could sort of get a break in through here. That shouldn't last. It did so well though to come back that way. Just tab across. You can still go after this one. Everything else is now sort of engaged. I think I'll still won't leave that. I'll just leave that one alone just for a little while. Oops, I keep on pressing the wrong keys. I'll leave that one there, leave that one there. Just want to keep this one so it can't actually break. Yep, that's okay. Let's just end our turn there. Confirm. Now we have to get... we're close to getting the win actually here. So, oh, fragmented. This isn't good. We're coming back. It can get really close. What do we have to be? I forget what the changes, the briefing is. Rout the enemy by routing at least 40% of their troops and 25% more than what you have lost, or routing 60% of their troops. It's funny, the game can actually really... Oh, hang on, we'll just get rid of that one. It can really change a lot. So we just need to get to 40, and the difference at the moment is 26%. So if we can rout one more of their legions, that's probably going to be enough. Come on. They're holding firm. My God, they've done well. Held firm again, even though they're taking massive losses. Okay. So we're halfway through the time limit. I'm just going to keep charging that one. I just want to keep this one honest. Yeah, this thing keeps on is pushing us away from the fight, which we have to be a little bit careful of because it may come back. So I think what I'll do is I don't get a flanking shot because I'm in front. You can see there that I'm just in front of this one slightly. I'm just going to move this one down to here. Now this one's more than likely now going to come back and put pressure on this one. If it's going to do that, I've got to then try to put pressure on it. Now this is actually a Roman legionary, so it can only turn. It can't actually maneuver, whereas my guys can maneuver. If I can keep this one honest, just by moving it into here and rotating that one, it's going to allow me then to start, as this one comes back, this is like chess now, so it's going to start to come back in. I'll be attacking this one, but if it starts to do things, I can come back down now and protect the flank of this one in the subsequent turns. So I'll still keep that one where that is. I don't want to do anything until I actually absolutely need to do something. This guy here, we are pushing this one back, but we just haven't had any good shots against this one. Actually, that did big damage against us this time. Okay, come on. This is the one. I don't believe this guy. They're just holding firm. Oh, there we go. The general has fallen, so we have now actually destroyed them. That should give us the win. That's dispersed because it had nowhere else to run. And so now we have these forces. Next turn I can then start to roll up this one if the game sort of had kept on going, which won't really matter much. This one's still a bit of a threat. That's why I have to come after it. If it rallied, it's then got all these flanking shots against my forces because it got back in behind us. This one here now, we can also then get this one out. I think what I'll do is I can actually get a pretty reasonable shot there. But I think what I'll do is I'm going to move this one out again just because of this legionary. I'm going to get a really good shot there next turn if I need it. The others can sort of stay where they are. We still actually have these shots which we have to go for. Okay, I'll leave that one where that is. And this one's not going to be very good at all. We could run again. No, we're okay. Next turn, we're going to be able to smash that, but I think it's going to be game over anyway. So let's just go across and confirm that that's the end. It's dispersed. Oh, it's rallied. And it's back to 35%. I told you it would happen. That's why we had to mask it. Absolutely had to mask that one. Now they're charging us. The game's so funny. It gets so close. Now they've actually impacted, but it's not from the flank. They didn't come from the flank. So that'll be okay. Now we're going to smash them next turn unless we break, which we just did. So we're down to 21%. We need to get to 25. I'm going to be able to break them though this time. Oh God, we've suffered 2 big losses there now. Should be able to get this one to run. Now we're going to get a good flanking attack there. We could just rally there. They dispersed, unfortunately, the warband. They're broken again. Good. Okay, and their general has fallen. That's going to be the end of that group. Their general's not going to bring them back. We've got this one as well. We can now smash this one from the flank. We get a 99% attack because we're using an actual Roman legionary with a sub-general just against an also-ran. Bang, flank attack, fragmented, should break, yep, broken and running. So it's now broken. We've now got them up to 49% with a 35% difference. God, we're good. God, we are good. All right, we just do these battles that we have to do. The only bad thing that can happen now would be that our general falls in this last little battle. It's been disrupted and falls back. Have these, we can move back in. Just fire against that one. You can't do anything there. I'll just rotate that one around. Now we have a flanking shot here. This is again going to be a massive attack. It's fragmented. It should run as well. Broken, yes, it's breaking as well. So you can see that we're actually now completely smashing through their forces. This one will run if I attacked it, which I can't actually do. We've still got this one here is actually now started to go this way. I'm just going to move these around so we could ultimately use guerrilla tactics to actually encircle this one. But anyway, the game is basically over. We've got to a point now where it really can't do anything. We're sort of now on the losing side of this equation. Not against this group, but against the other one. And you can see our general is still holding in there. So Calbo, son of Carubilo. Okay, we'll end our turn there. Confirm. They can't come back from this. They cannot come back. They could still kill off our general. That's the only thing they could do. It could be their parting wave at us. Oh, we actually got them that time. I was just expecting to hear the bama with the general falling. Okay, there we go. The enemy has lost heart. You're victorious. So that's that was the first of the battles. So this then takes us through. We could claim this as a glorious victory. That was really cool, actually. That was good fun, that one. That was really, really good fun. So I'm just going to close that one, review the battlefield. I won't bother with that one. We'll just go across. And so what actually ends up happening with this one, the original strength was 6,000. Now, we lost 15%. This is actually pretty high when you are playing campaigns. You don't want to be losing... I mean, I guess 15% is okay. That actually sort of does work. But when you're playing these campaigns, you want to try to keep it 15% or lower, really, probably sort of around 10%, because you then got to go from battle to battle. And so I can replace this, but any more than that becomes like a Pyrrhic victory. This one here, we absolutely smashed them though, so that was really, really cool. So we killed, so the friendly forces that were killed, we had 370 infantry as opposed to their 929. The cavalry, we hardly lost any of those. Wounded, we had a fair few. You can see they captured and deserted. We got heaps of theirs. Anyway, that was really, really good. So good game, Sartorius just can't lose, says Van Bishop. Well, really, it was so much of it has to do with that using the terrain, and you saw that with that rough land. If we hadn't have been in that rough terrain with our Catrati, it would have actually been a very, very different story. And also, I was very lucky with that group that's charged out on its own to did a what's that player back from about 10, 15 years ago. Leroy Jenkins. He did it, Leroy Jenkins. I don't know if you know that one. Look it up. It's really funny. A guy was playing World of Warcraft with I think it was World of Warcraft, a whole group of other guys. They had this really meticulous plan. This guy called Leroy Jenkins just came in, yelled out Leroy Jenkins and just ran into this room, and everyone ended up dying because they all charged in after him and to try to help him. It just didn't work. So we have a choice through here now. Campaign stage 2 of 3. We get to do this a little bit, I think. We've got a half hour before this one finishes. So you successfully achieved the victory conditions for the previous stage of the campaign. Lusitanian army, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. That's okay. That's interesting. It's calling us a Lusitanian army. Yet we're the Sartorian army. Territory has now been invaded by Greek forces. Fortunately, you have been able to secure a temporary truce with your Roman enemies, which will allow you to engage this new enemy with your full force. So we can offer battle. This will take you back to the previous stage of the campaign. You can actually unwind it. Quite often you end up with a couple of different sorts of things that you can do through here, which is, again, a really nice way of actually sort of presenting things. We can review the field army if we wanted to there. I don't know what that'll do us. Yeah, we've got the... this just goes through... You can see that most of our forces actually went up a bit. We didn't actually really lose anything. What about the group that ran? Where's those war bands? Yeah, they went up a notch. So even they went up slightly. The Roman legionaries are now superior plus, so they're going to get a slight advantage in through there as well. Just I can move forces out, which of course I won't do it. So I just accept that's where that is. Are you happy with your garrison selections? Yes, proceed. Okay, so we'll just go across to the choice one through here. Just read a few more of the comments there. So Elug is saying, I never managed to learn this game, but seeing you play it made it fun. It's a really cool game. Like, it's one of these games where the more you learn about it, it becomes intuitive as well. Like, so it's not as if you have to keep on learning about it. I mean, I've forgot what the zoom in command is and things like that. But the actual gameplay itself starts to make sense when you know what the facings are, how the flankings work, and what the terrain does. And the control key is the key to a lot of that. Just by pressing control, you can learn a lot about what it is. So Iliug is saying, what I really hate is the randomizing of a maps even in campaign. Actually, I love that in this game because it makes you rethink everything. So anyway, we're going to be going in. We've got our forces are okay. We're going to have, like, whatever our selection is in through here, this will be impacted by how well or badly we do in the previous battle. If we do badly, it means we have a lot less to spend and we end up with wounded troops. But we should be okay. So Spanish Sartorius versus Greek Western. Now the Greeks have also then got new forces as well that have come back in. We'll just close this one off. And so this is our forces back through this side. Again, we're going to be coming up against forces that are going to have very heavy troops. So the Greeks had I think they had a lot of cavalry in this era, and they also had a lot of the big spearmen. I forget what they're called. Anyway, we're going to be seeing a lot of those. This is fairly open. We actually have a waterway down the side, so that's going to be sort of like going to compress the map in a little bit. We're still going to be relying very heavily on the rough terrain. Now, we've got open ground everywhere except for in here. We've got a bit of rough terrain in through there and in through here. We have some woods that we can fall back on, and we also have rough ground over here. It's going to be a more difficult sort of battle for us. Over here would be the best spot for us to actually fight in amongst this and force them in around here. I think I might do that. I'm going to have to spin everyone around to actually then fight across this line here. So we'd end up with maybe like a Roman legionary and one of the war bands back over this side. We have the... I can still get a couple of other units. I can grab myself another Roman legionary. Yes, we'll do that, absolutely. And I can get slingers, which I just haven't needed them. I just don't need them. the heavy castrati were actually better than the warbands. I mean, the warbands, they just couldn't hold up against the Romans. Or did we go Roman cavalry? We've still got 50 to spend, so I can't get one of these anyway. I can get one of these, which costs a little bit less. I'll go cavalry. It's only leaving us with 6 left. So I'm just going to go and auto-deploy and then deploy properly. I'm not going to have time to really get into this one. But again, just trying to sort of pick and choose. So I'll accept that's going to be the force that we go in with. Going to add one more general this time to our forces. I think that this is going to be much more about the, like if we're going to be fighting in through this line here, we're going to end up with a central area full of our our light troops. Our mediums will be back out this side. We'll end up with, in fact, I don't even need to bring any Roman legions other than through here. I could actually end up with mediums here, heavies through the middle here, some mediums on the outside with just lights in through there. That would actually work in fairly well. So for the actual generals, I think I'll actually go and place another one with another Roman legionary. I've only got the one general though. So I think that what we'll do is I'll end up sitting back across this way. Yeah, there's the 3. I might even just move one more of them up this way. If they fall, like if they collapse, I don't mind them collapsing in through the middle there. So we'll just put the 2 weak points, the Celtiberian warbands, back in through there. Now we're going to have a fair few of these heavy castrati that can actually then sort of work across here. Just get the 3 of them across that side. They're all part of that one group. I'm not sure about what to do with these. You know, I could even leave them back in the tree line. Let's just do this. We'll hide it behind the hill. I don't know. It possibly will be seen from there. I don't think it can hide that well. Maybe you can hide it in there. I think I can hide in these built-up areas as well. Just hide the cavalry. Do the same sort of deal again. We'll be sneaky with our guerrilla tactics. Heavy castrati back over this side. We need to get them across into this other region back over this area. So move them back in through that side. Actually, this is another noble cavalry back this way as well. I'll leave it hidden in there as well. Now, I do want to have one of them probably at least one, to be honest. I might bring 2 of them back in. It's going to leave me with only 2 to defend back over this side. I really don't trust these guys to be able to hold up under pressure. Okay, so that then leaves the normal castrati back in through here, just hidden in the tree line. And we've then just got a force. I'll leave that one back there as well. In fact, I can leave that one just up the front there. I'll leave these out on the flank. I think that'll work. Okay, so once again, we're using the terrain to our advantage because we sort of have to. Okay, so Belasaruka is saying, just joined. What armies are they? So we're playing as the, it says Lusitanian, but it's essentially we're playing with the Sertorian sort of Roman/Spanish troops against, in this case, the Greeks who have now come in to fight this next part of the campaign. We're not going to get this one much done at all, to be honest. We're going to run out of time. But God, this is such a good game. Such a damn good game. Right, so what are we up against? Let's have a look and see what the Greek forces have got. So Lusitania is modern-day Portugal. Yes, it's the 3. Other than the Sertorian areas, you've got the Lusitanians, which were the south western portion of the Iberian Peninsula. The Celtiberians were, I think that they were the northeastern, and then you have, what are these ones? They're Celtiberian. Actually, no, Celtiberian Warband. Yeah, I think they were northeastern. I can't remember what the other ones were. Anyway, there's one from the Central Plains as well. It's really quite interesting. So they've actually done a lot of work with the actual Spanish forces. So, and that was a really fun one to play, I've got to say. I really enjoyed that. That was good. Now, I'm just going to let them sort of keep on coming forward. They've got hoplites here. The hoplites are going to be fairly strong. Not going to do very well at all against these guys, though, because these are heavies. So if we have a look here, heavy foot, they are superior, but against our mediums inside the rough terrain, we're going to be okay. They've got more Thureophori. They use a lot of these guys. These would be the ones that they'd be wanting to attack into here if we could do, but attacking that Thureophori last time, that was so damn cool. In the end, the way it worked out. Okay, so we've got more of the hoplites in through here. So just to go through, the Thureophori, if you see down the bottom through here, I can actually press, I think it's I? No? Once again, I've got all my keyboard shortcuts around the wrong way. Yeah, I can't sort of show the information. There is actually an information panel that I can bring out. Control click on the unit. There we go. So it just tells you basically everything about the actual unit itself. So lightly equipped spearmen. So things like for example, the offensive spearman capabilities are different again to what our guys have got, which are that they're more Roman sort of style. So control click on these, and these are impact foot swordsmen. And so medium foot with heavy throwing spear and sword. And so these are essentially just the level up from just the skirmisher units that we actually have in through here, the Catrati in through here. These are better skirmishers than the others because the Iberians were basically just using only skirmishers, for a lot of their history, I believe. So we're used to the guerrilla tactics. Back in through here, we've got more of the heavy hoplites. So these are once again heavy spearmen. So they're basically classified into either spearmen or swordsmen, and it tends to be that these can sort of push back fairly well defensively, but the swordsmen end up being your impact groups that sort of can smash through. So the Greeks sort of play very defensively. You've got citizen hoplites, which are I think really good. Yeah, this is a heavy spearman. So undrilled heavy foot, offensive spearmen, and that's really just the style of attack that they actually end up having. Then at the back, you can see how many hoplites they have. Raw hoplites at the back through here. These are going to be fairly easy for us to get into if they sort of make it, but it's a big force that we actually have. Now, we don't really need to move much other than to move these across. I'm just going to move them. Actually, I won't even do that. I'm just going to move this one across to here. Here's the undo. That's the only undo you have. As long as you don't really move, you're okay. Just going to move that up slightly, and that's all we're going to do. Confirm that. Okay, so Findoti is saying that Pixel's there talking about Pike and Shot. Tons of community scenarios too. Yeah, it's the community around this, like in Pike and Shot's the same engine and the same rule system, really. And that's an awesomely good game. I think Pike and Shot, there was an earlier version. This is Field of Glory 2. There was a Field of Glory 1, and I love that game as well. I actually used to play that one an awful lot, the computer game. But it's nowhere near as good as this. But it actually, I think it followed the tabletop rules probably a little bit more stringently. So there was that aspect to it. Actually, we're going to be a little bit careful. This is going to be interesting. If that comes down, this light javelin horse may try to get in and cause some issues. It can't really hurt us in through here. It's only a light cavalry. Anyway, we'll just keep on sort of ending our turn. And whoops, so I won't confirm that. I just want to move this one across. Move that one across. Yeah, so it's the different games that they've actually had have been very, very good. Very good indeed. And the Pike and Shot sort of came out after, that was the first one where the board game designer got involved, I think, with Pike and Shot, or at least sort of started to get involved. And then this is Richard Scott is the actual board, the sort of the tabletop designer, and then he's been heavily involved in this one, and it's just been amazing. His interaction and what he's actually brought to this has been great. Now we don't really need to. There's nothing else back up through here, so let's just move these up. Just cause a little bit of discontent with them. Not that we're going to be able to do much. You can see there the Greek armies are just enormous. Okay, we'll just end our turn. I'll just get rid of this one. But Pike and Shot, yeah, Richard Bodley Scott is the developer of the tabletop, and also really does nothing gets past this game without his without passing his eyes, and heavily involved in this one as well. So this has been really the Field of Glory 2. It takes it to a whole other level. But Pike and Shot is also very good. Leave them where they are. I think I'm just going to leave them back where they are. We'll just confirm that. So we've only got 15 minutes left in this stream, guys. So if you want to ask any questions, just in case I miss anything, just go and just do an @DAS tactic, and that way I'll sort of see it. It'll sort of stand out. Okay, so Pavik is saying, I think this is a better game overall than Pike and Shot, but Pike and Shot is also unique and odd. Like the period it represents. Well, I think that with Pike and yeah, it is. It's actually a really interesting era as well. Here we go. They've got their long range guys just going up against us. Now they're going to be using these. I'm not going to get a chance to really go after their skirmishes. They're going to do some pretty big damage actually with these guys. We're not going to have it all our own way. I could take them out with these. I could sort of smash into these. Yeah, it's pretty even actually when you look at this. They've got their light javelin men, very similar to our Catrati. No, we'll just stay where we are. We'll leave them back out where they are as well. They're not coming off their line. They're not worried about us at all. Move these around. Okay, just end our turn there. But yeah, Pike and Shot was great, but they when they brought that game out, because I think there was still some licensing deals that were happening with the original Field of Glory, and so they didn't bring Field of Glory 2 out at that stage, because I was actually hassling Slytherin for quite a length of time about when are they going to bring out the next Field of Glory, because I loved it so much. And they told me to stop asking because there was actually problems with the licensing or something. And then when Pike and Shot came out, it was like, okay, that's me. I'm in. I'm done. I'm happy. Now they're just going to run away. I'm not going to even worry about them. So we're just going to leave them where they are. I'm just going to keep this trap sort of where this is. I'm not going to get a chance to even sort of spring this trap at all. Okay, so Finn Data is saying this integrates with Field of Glory Empires, right? Yes, it does. Very well. It's and once again, Richard Bodley Scott has actually been heavily involved, along with the with Agior, the developers of Field of Glory Empires, to really get that balance right. And it's very cool what they've been doing, and they keep on sort of double checking things and just making sure that the units are correct. And just even like if you, I've sort of seen a few of the discussions, behind the scenes and things from when these games have been developed, and just the degree of keeping the game pure, but also trying to sort of adhere to historic accuracy, just unbelievable. Like I love it. I love being a bit of a fly on the wall for those sorts of things, because I just get so blown away by what different people can do, with their knowledge. And yes, this game really epitomises that. And Pike and Shot as well. Like it really sort of, that was, I guess, the test of the engine when it sort of brought it all in. We just start to do a little bit of, these are only raw hoplites. They're not going to even be able to go through here. So they're going to do well against our cavalry. We may have to move our cavalry out of the way if they come through this little gap. I don't think that they will. Actually, we might even, because there's just so many of the hoplites, we'll just stay in the rough. If they come forward into this area, we'll be okay. Okay, so Van Bishop was saying, I wonder what the unit count is up to now, including all the DLCs. I mean, it's just enormous, isn't it, really? What you can actually do with it. I'll just end the turn. There's nothing close enough. We'll just confirm. But the rules changed slightly with the latest update. Yeah, they're going after these guys. Here they come. Now, these are so far back, I could actually come... Oh, no, here they come. I was just thinking I possibly could push a little bit. This is going to be an absolute grind. This will be just an absolute grind as the hoplites just try to sort of dominate. They'll get in around us a little bit, so we'd probably have to try to smash our way through at some stage, probably through the middle in this case, because this is where all our heavies are. So we'll probably have to use the heavies to try to smash through this, but then you've got these other ranks of hoplites coming back the other way. I'm going to ignore the lights. I'm not going to worry about them at all. And yeah, I'm thinking I might have to move this one around, move it across just to help protect this area. This one here is okay. We get a slight win. I'll just do a flank charge. Oh no, we did fall back. That's what we want. We want to just be sort of smashing in it where we can. Actually, we managed to disrupt that one. If it attacks us, we'll just run away. Okay, we'll keep on harassing. Alright, we'll end our turn there. Findoda is saying, yeah, I picked up Sengoku as well. Yeah, I have it, but I've not played it yet, says Belaruski. That's very good as well. Actually, Pixel's also saying, also highly recommend Sengoku if you have any interest in the Far Eastern stuff. That was where really the way that they do the campaign in that one is really interesting. So it's like all of these games, they just got better and better and better. But Field of Glory 2 really is really the flagship of all of these games that they've actually brought out. Just amazing. We'll just end our turn there. Yeah, as I say, when I started this, it's one of my favourite games. I don't play it as well as I could play it, I guess, but I love it. I love what it does. I love how it models things. So Pixel's saying, I really want a Pike and Shot 2 with Mughals and Safavids, as well as both European and Asian with New World stuff. Actually, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Actually, a version for the New World. That would be really, really interesting, like with the Spanish over there, I guess. That would work well. That would be perfect, because that was the Pike and Shot era. Now, I can do some damage in through here. They're not going to be able to touch me in here. They're not going to be able to touch me until they actually come into this side. They're going to get very, very compressed. Let's just move this one up to here. Again, just to keep these guys honest. Now, with the Theriophori will actually do some damage against us. Keep them where they are. Get a flank charge. I'll try that one. Not very much damage though. Just nipping at their heels. Oh, it held firm, lost 15 men, which isn't much. Really, some of these can be quite big, I think. What have they got in there? 456. I thought some of the. I think there's a group of hoplites the Greeks can actually have that are like double size. They're just enormously large. Anyway, let's just end our turn there. We've only got 5 minutes, guys, so I'm going to have to sort of get going. It's a shame that we can't really sort of get anything really happening. They're retreating back through. They're not routing. They're just moving out of the way. Here they come. And so these ones you'll sort of see that we end up with a. These are the Theriophori. So they've got offensive spearmen plus 100 against our impact foot. Troop quality is slightly good because we saw after the last battle we went slightly up as well. 0 points of advantage was 116, which does they're greatly disadvantaged, but they've just got the numbers. Playing as these sorts of units, actually, where you've got these, you've sort of got to almost expect them to fail and then bounce back, and then you're looking for the opportunity, sort of like what happened in the last one, where you end up with some flanking shots, and that's really the way the Greeks have to play. Okay, they're moving in. This is interesting. They're actually moving away. They've still got these Theriophori coming back the other side. That could give both of our cavalry at the back an opportunity as well. Again, these can't attack into here. So I've really got no issues with this. Now we should have an advantage, particularly against the Thyreophori. So we'll charge that one. I probably should have wore them out slightly first, because I can't do anything with those. These, even these, we're going to get a at least the impact shot will be a positive one. But I don't think it's going to really work. I think I'll just leave it where it is, because the impact will still work in our favour next turn as well. Keep them, even though you can see there, once again, the game is now just using its mediums against our mediums. Our mediums are going to have better quality than theirs. That's going to be pretty much all it's going to be. I want to draw these in slightly. So I will very quickly leave that again as well. So we'll just, oops, charge into here. Flank attack. Just going to ignore them. Now, can we get a shot in there? Yes, we can. Oh, it's holding firm. Again, just the modelling of these little sort of skirmish forces doing what they're doing is really quite cool. I can now bring this one out of hiding. Bring it around. That's going to then scare these a little bit. They'll probably turn around a little bit, which will then allow me to just keep on fighting back and through here. I'll just quickly end the turn. See what they do. Now, that's still even. They're now charging. That's even. That one we should win. Even though they're heavies. Oh no, that's Thyreophori again. Alright, so they're going to come in with a 2-to-1 against us there. And really, I am running out of time here, guys, so I'm not going to be able to continue this one. We'll have a look and see how these sort of work. So you can see that with this one, we get a good impact win initially against the spearmen, against the hoplites, but then after that it becomes fairly even. Now, I can't really break my line. I've got to keep my line where it is. I can't go up to get flanking attacks. These Thyreophori, yep, we're going to lose against those. Whoa, got pushed back. I can't afford to spin, because if I do, this one's got me locked in. If I click on that one, you can see there we are locked in there. I can smash this one though. It will run. We then come out. We charge this group, which we're probably going to lose. Oh no, we actually disrupted it. All right, there's our opportunity. Out she comes. Out of hiding, guys, and back around the outside. Actually, I've only got 2 minutes. We're not going to get this done at all. This is just not going to happen. So we've got 42% chance in through there. Yep, not working for us. This one here, we now have a disadvantage with our warbands, and they're now sort of turning to face these. We'll just keep on trying to smash these if we can. See how they're now, the threat of the cavalry that came out has completely changed their direction. I probably came out one turn too early with this, because they're now seeing a very different sort of threat. Leave that one there. That's not a flanking shot against this one. I don't have any more flanking shots against any of these. I can still do this. Oh, no, it's not worth it. Yeah, as long as we keep on falling back, we're okay. Just get them ready. I'll leave that one back there. I think I should just move it into here, and just do that. Anyway, I have really run out of time, guys. So it's just one of these games again where I just get so caught up in it. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope it was informative. Hope it sort of helps you figure out if this is the sort of game that you would like to have. as I say, there's no other ancient tactical battle game that uses this sort of system. It's incredibly good. And with the DLC packs, I can't wait for the next DLC pack to come out. I'm assuming it's going to be the Longbow DLC, if it follows through from the tabletop and also from Field of Glory 1 days. That was the last of the DLCs, I think, in that particular version of the game. That was my favourite DLC pack. So I've been harassing and hassling Slytherin, asking what's coming and when's it coming, but they've been very tight-lipped. So I don't know if that's actually what's going to be coming. But there is actually, at the moment, the game plays right from ancient times right the way through now to the Dark Ages. And so the next one that comes out sort of starts to sort of wind it back into the Middle Ages, getting very close to the pike and shot era. So anyway, guys, going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. My name is Daz Tactic, and yeah, a lot of fun. I really enjoy this community as well, by the way. It's so thanks to you guys for what you do for this sort of gaming. Like, it's great to actually have so many of us nerds that actually sort of like this sort of stuff, and you know, able to support these games and these developers to make it so that they get a bit of a success. I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.